Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Clack, your weekly dose for mechanical keyboard mumbo jumbo. I am one of your hosts, Quakums, or Brian, also joined by one of my co-hosts, Huey, otherwise known as Man of Interest, as usual. And we have quite the episode for you today for several reasons, and that's cool, so make sure you stick around for the whole thing. This week, we have Alvin, otherwise known as TokyoCoffeeNerd, with us. Yo. He is our special guest today. And we're going to be talking about some awesome stuff that he has upcoming, as well as lots of other awesome things that are happening in the community. And some drama. Don't worry, we'll get to that. I know all you people want that drama, so we'll get there. Anyways, Alvin, how are you doing today?
Doing good, super hungover. It's actually a nice day today in Tokyo for once, so, coffee.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself, because we've had you on the show once before. It was kind of an impromptu thing. We're not going to get into that, but we did have you on before. But for people that might have missed that, can you give us a little recap of who you are, what you do, what you got going on in your life?
Yeah, where do I start with that? So, I'm based in Tokyo now. I've been here 4 years. I run the Alphabet Coffee Club. So, we just launched a cafe 4 months ago, but we've been running as an online thing for about 2 years. But, man, sort of in coffee, spent 10 years in the Bay Area before that, started doing design tech stuff. And then, now kind of keyboarding. So, hey guys.
Okay, so you're not really exactly quote-unquote well-known in the keyboard community as of right now, but you are kind of working on a project which I think is going to be very successful, and it's going to be kind of like your breakout thing. Can you talk a little bit about what you're working on right now?
Yeah, so, I've been working on this guy right here. Quick, I think you've seen this before. I don't know if you, but it's, I'm calling it the Tokyo 60, and it's 60% keyboard, aluminum top, sort of nylon bottom. The whole thing's going to be basically a one-piece thing. So this is another prototype. I know you can see the integrated plate there.
Yeah, looks nice.
But so the whole thing's going to be just super sleek, super minimal, and hopefully kind of fun to type on. So, I just got these prototypes in from Shenzhen last week. So still kind of putting them through their paces and see how they behave. Definitely send that to you guys and see, how do they sound? Because this guy has a 1.5 millimeter plate, but this one actually has a 4.5 millimeter aluminum plate, and I don't think anyone's ever done that, and I don't have any sort of benchmark on how that is,
Fair enough.
So, it's definitely a little more expensive now that the number's back to produce the 4.5 millimeter version. But if it's substantially better, it might be the one to do. So I guess that's a brief intro.
Okay, so where are you with the process right now in terms of the actual project?
So I guess this will probably tie into some of the stuff we'll be talking about later, or you guys are talking about later. Right now this is the first round of prototypes. There's lots of stuff that's kind of funky. I got the stab spacing wrong here, so I've just gotten rid of these two little bridge parts for the next version. So I have a set of prototypes coming in some different colors to sort of see what's it look like in silver, rose gold, and just a pure black. So this is like a 6U black, and the other one's space gray. And just trying to figure out how to get a lot of the really small details fixed. The USB port is in here, but it's just off by a smidge. So really trying to release a finished product in a way that's hopefully I'm shipping people stuff that's gonna be good.
Yeah. And so what's the thought process behind this exact board? Because obviously there's other HHKB MX options on the market,
Sure.
quite a few of them these days. So,
Right.
like, what's the purpose of this board in particular? Why would someone want to buy this one?
Oh man. Okay. So, this is really really dumb. So the kind of the whole reason this whole idea came being was one day I was like, hey man, what if keyboards could drop like sneakers? You know, like how would that work? If you could have like one sort of silhouette and shape that's super classic, that is that you can still like if you see it a lot, but then just be able to do many runs with different colors, different options, and kind of have like the common projects of keyboards. So for if you guys aren't familiar with common projects, they've taken like your standard Converse All Star, but instead they've made the whole thing out of leather, made in Italy, and taken all the branding off of it, right, and sell it for like $400, $500, and it's like, wow, that's yes, that's too expensive, but at the same time, like they're able to make a kind of fun play on like a really basic product. Like I don't think the idea from TokyoCoffeeNerd is to have a super high-end luxury price tag and cost, but how do you take something that people kind of love and respect, and then just put my own spin on that, on what I think it should be. So a lot of that comes out to I guess how it looks right now. It's designed to be super minimal. It's really only two pieces, so it's sort of mirroring the original HHKB design and build. Where we take apart an HHKB, it's beautiful, right? There's not so many things going on there. It's got only like a 5-degree fixed tilt, not tilt, fixed angle. It's because it's like nice and sleek, and you can actually carry it around if you travel with the boards. And it's also for me like a really interesting kind of process. So I have a pretty big background in sort of I guess like innovation consulting. So all that stuff is really about, hey man, like how do we find some opportunity to disrupt, or like how do we do some user research and figure out what people need and all this sort of stuff, and how do you build these kind of features. And then one day I was hanging out with a friend of mine who comes from like much more of like an art kind of background, right? And she said this thing that really just blew me away, and it was this idea that you don't need to make something different, you just need to make something emotional, right? And it's like, oh wow, yeah, I guess we don't always have to be chasing like the next kind of big thing, or the big hype or whatever. It's like, does this have some sort of emotional value impact, for me, and yeah. So let's just try it. It's maybe not super original, but who cares? It makes me happy. So let's try designing from that kind of angle. So that whole thing's been super refreshing.
Yeah, that's a really cool approach. So a few minutes ago, you mentioned you kind of compared the way this keyboard is going to be to sneakers, and those that aren't really into that whole sneaker shoe community, and I'm not one of them, but I'm kind of aware of the premise. So a lot of people do own like the same pair of shoes, just in different colors to match what they're wearing today, however they feel, whatever. Right. And that's also kind of the thought process behind this keyboard. It's a simple keyboard. It's minimal. It's not going to be crazy expensive like the super high-end customs you see today. But you're gonna have different colors. You're gonna have different combinations of colors. You're gonna have you're gonna have designs potentially on the bottom, which I don't think you talked about that, but we talked privately about that.
So yeah, the designs on the bottom. So something that I'm trying to figure out how to do is I also love skateboards, and something that what I love about skateboards is like, you have this basic thing, you flip it over, and there's a ton of art on there. And keyboards kind of have a similar sort of thing. Like what are we doing with the bottom of the keyboard? And they're a lot of the artisans in the community. They're actually fantastic artists and illustrators. Also, they're not just sculptors. So how is there some way to get another sort of view or angle into the artist community and then, what a real sort of crafted keyboard looks like, and just make to be able to make them a little more, just put a little more character into a keyboard, outside of what we can do with key sets and I guess like key switch modules and stuff like that, So, yeah.
It's awesome. So one thing you mentioned is you're a fan of skateboarding. One thing this is more of a recommendation, but a great marketing material would be for you to kickflip the board.
I think
just bolt some trucks onto the bottom. It'll be like a penny board, and just give us a clean kick, man.
That'd be so amazing. Just watch me kickflip like a 9009 set or something. It's like what's the most expensive thing I can skate and kickflip and just trash.
Please no. only JTK sets for the kickflip, please.
Yeah. Well, that would probably fix Legends. They'll just kick him back in place.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Oh, okay. I think that might need to happen. Probably one of these prototypes because they're kind of wonky.
Only one prototype is hard in the making of this video.
Exactly right. and then realize that I didn't hit record or something.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, and it's. Well, talking about prototyping, a big thing I'm being really cautious because I've been running this coffee company for a little bit now, and we ship a lot of coffee, right? And it's like logistics is super hard, and that's going to make or break anything. And it's the customer experience plus like how can you actually provide a product now that the community is at the size that it is. We're at like what 200K and RMK right now.
Yep.
And like it's at the point where maybe ICs and group buys just don't work anymore at the same scale, and maybe they only really work for a small community, like, if Keyclack just closed itself off, or just the Keyclack community on its own or something, But sort of once it's wide and open, like, you really need to start adopting kind of more proper, I guess, like business approaches to like, how do we sort orders? How do we handle customer service? How do we handle emails? Mm-hmm. We need to start investing money in like, maybe like a Zendesk or something.
Yeah.
So what they shared at the Tokyo meetup was, I was part of the E8 V1 drop like way early on, and I pulled out way early because I saw their spreadsheet, and it's like something like 40 people times like like 8 color options times like 8 more color options for the plates, and then plus custom engraving. It's like looking at that, like how is anyone supposed to not screw that up? And then you got to add in screws, PCBs, all the other all that stuff, and it's like like there's no need to make it so hard for yourself. And instead of releasing everything in one go, could you instead just release 2 or 3 colors at a time, or just really focus on doing fewer things but doing it better, and that way keep yourself more sustainable, so that you can be around in the community for much longer instead of having a really cool release, burn yourself out, and then like just be so like trashed or pitchforked by the community that you'll never come back. So it definitely, I think we're at a really interesting point right now in this community of well, how do we keep doing stuff?
Yeah, so. That's that reference of doing fewer things but doing them better. That's how I like restaurants to be. If I walk into a restaurant and they do like 5 things, they probably do them really well. But if I walk into a place and they have like 200 things, none of them are good. None of them are good, guaranteed. So like when you're able to focus on fewer things, it becomes so much easier to do them correctly.
For sure. And like a big reason for so the Tokyo 60s actually has a fixed key layout design, so it only supports HHKB ANSI.
Good.
And a lot part of that is just like once you start going universal, it gets in all these sort of issues and problems, and with structure, no need. Just,
no need.
If I wanted to release a different layout, it's going to be a different board. So just do one thing and just make sure it's as perfect as it can be.
Yeah, Huey and I are very definitely behind forcing HHKB layout down people's throats.
Oh yeah.
I think everyone needs to learn to HHKB.
At the minimum, the whole world ANSI or bust, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
ANSI.
Come on.
Well, I was saying who needs ISO, but really who needs the JIS layout? I mean that's gonna really kills me all the time here. Where they have the shifted brackets.
Yeah. Oh, those shifted brackets are such a pain.
I know. Right.
It's weird. They call the Japanese international standard as if it's used anywhere else but Japan.
Well, it's for the Japanese who go travel internationally. Yeah.
I don't know if we actually did it. Can you link the Tokyo 60 album you have currently, Alvin? Even if it's renders or whatever, just whatever kind of.
Yeah, let me drop the link. So, I should have the IC ready to go. I'm gonna just hit post, but maybe not right now.
That works too. Either one.
Okay. You know what? I'll just publish this and regret it later.
Story of my life.
No worries. So while you're searching for that up, let's talk a little bit about something we all have experience in, which is meetups. Brian, you've hosted meetups.
Yeah.
Alvin, recently there was the other Tokyo meetup as well that Bektor let us know about. I believe he was there as well. I've done meetups in Northern and Southern California. And one thing I do want to talk about, nice little interesting discussion point now that we have you, Alvin, and this isn't something that Brian and I can just talk about with anybody, but something we can talk about with you, is
fantastic.
Our MK meetup cultures. I mean, Brian and I know, and different people around the world act differently for socio-cultural reasons, and that's no different for keyboards. But in a way, the internet is kind of like a glue where there's already kind of like a MK culture, at least within the sub, on Discord, on the different Slack channels. They all have their own unique culture. But I think, personally, that culture does have a bit of a shift when people meet in person, because the culture kind of shifts more to what the local culture is like as opposed to our online culture.
Yep.
So how are meetups in Tokyo?
I mean, they're cool. They're definitely a lot smaller than Seattle. We had probably just 50 plus people, 50, 55, something like that for our own. And it's interesting to see, what people are into and the sort of different niches. And Tokyo is just really into ergo split layouts. That's the thing, right? And I guess it's how people really get into mechanical keyboards out here. It's wow, I really wish I had a split keyboard, So this guy, one of these guys, made a proposal for a split layout. So he had his whole thesis about it. There's a guy who brought the custom Kale low profile switch split keyboard stuff.
That was cool.
The Let's Split Japan group was a huge success. So everyone brought in their own Let's Splits, and there's a little side Let's Split party. And if you guys are on Twitter, there's a Let's Split Matsuri. I forget what it is exactly, but they have their own hashtag that's a Let's Split party.
That's awesome.
And basically, because everyone got the Let's Split at the same time, everyone was building it at the same time, so it became this big social event of just posting your builds at the same time over Twitter, and that was that's a really cool story. And we had the guy who wrote his own keyboard manga, doujinshi, I guess.
Really?
Awesome! I want to read that.
Where can I find that?
Where can we find this?
You have to go to Comic Cat. I think it's sold out. So, it's fun because it just has a very different feel. It's different, more Japanese, right?
Yeah. So that's interesting.
There is a severe lack of keyboard manga.
Yeah, there definitely is. So
that needs to change.
I'm always interested in a lot of the smaller details as well, because for US meetups, unless the owner of the keyboard is there standing with their keyboards, it's usually okay to touch a keyboard, type on it.
Right.
That's an open thing for our meetups. Is it like that in Tokyo as well, or is it more of a reserved you can only touch if you ask, or?
It's a little more reserved. I mean, it started off people were like, I don't know if we can touch this or not. Like, we didn't really announce any like rules. I guess that's something that's pretty big in Japan. Is you got to set the context, and say this is what you can do and can't do. But people just started hanging out, and I think people were kind of reluctant at first, and once you see all other people start clicking away, like people get really into it. Like, oh, I can do this, great, and then. There's a whole thing of like, oh, do people pick up boards or turn them upside down or whatever? I guess people do. I didn't have time to assemble my fail, so I just sort of brought it as a kit. And I think I screwed up my space bar here on the my ski data. So someone picked up my fail, turned it upside down, and the whole vast weight just fell out. I'm like, oh my gosh, and then like, oh. There we go.
Oh, that's brutal.
So a good heads up. This is what I learned from the Seattle meetup and my meetups. For some of my heavier boards, I'm gonna have little post-it cards, which is like, pick up 2 hands only. Because I have some boards that are like 5 pounds, and some people are gonna like one-hand it and just slip it and just.
Well, that's because with the feel like it doesn't look as heavy as it feels. So people are like, oh, I'm just one hand to like grab it, and they're like,
Yeah, I had one rather. I don't know how old she was. She was a fairly young teenage girl, and she's not big. She's very small, and she went to grab my fiel, and like she was like, and like she just couldn't pick it up like from the top with one hand.
She's like a Thor hammer,
what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. That's where we go.
It was pretty funny.
She's not worthy. It's okay.
Yeah. I was like, you can't type on this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you can't. No, but seriously.
Something I'm really excited though about was we had a good amount of presentations for our thing, and I got to talk about TokyoCoffeeNerd. Boykeys got to talk about casting, and it looked like for the Seattle meetup, there's a good amount of the lightning talks, and I think that stuff is super fun, because it's not just about meeting up, but how do we share knowledge, but also how do we get more people to contribute, by sharing the skills of making keyboards or just getting into keyboards, looping or whatever, and that's a ton of fun. Like for the meetup we did last time, we were able to live stream Binge, and Binge did a live casting session with us, and that was super cool.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel really makes this community really special. It's at the same time it's sort of like part we buy keyboards, but we also make a lot of our own stuff, and it's super easy for anyone to really just make something and go, hey guys, here's something I love. What do you think,
For sure. All right, Huey, do we have any more discussion points, or should we move into the news?
It's not technically a discussion point, but it is a quick little blurb to everyone who supports Clack. So as a lot of you may know, we're having a fancy episode on the 28th, our 1-year anniversary, and one of the things that we're doing as we change Clack is we're going to have an official Clack YouTube channel. So it's not going to be hosted. Clack episodes will, after year 1, will no longer be hosted on my channel. We decided to move them to an official Clack YouTube channel. And one of the things we need to start off with is the community's help. For YouTube, you are not able to have a custom URL until you have 100 subscribers. So knowing all of our fans here, that should be no problem. But if everyone could be so kind to subscribe, if Brian, you want to throw that link down that I just threw in.
Oh, I can do that.
Or someone can. I believe. Click it to double check. It should be the one. I think we have 0 subscribers right now. If you guys want to help us fix that problem, get subscribed. When we have 100 subscribers, we'll be youtube.com/c/TopClack. All of the new episodes after year 1. So starting on the 28th and beyond will be on this channel. We're also going to have a playlist of all the year 1 episodes that are hosted on my channel on this channel as well. So yeah, keep your eye out. Keep your eye out for that. We're gonna have I have some channel art that I still need to add, but all that stuff. So get subbed when you can. I'll be blasting it places so Brian and I can officially have an official Clack. So just wanted to throw that out there before we get to the news. Thank you so
Awesome.
much, everyone.
Oh, actually, it's one quick thing I do want to say.
Yes.
Man,
Sure.
if anyone wants to actually make their own keyboard, like CNC and all that, I would recommend trying it out because just the whole process of learning how to get this made and manufactured was super amazing. I don't have any background in this stuff, but then working with the factories, they're super friendly. They mostly speak English. I deal with them through WeChat. So basically I'm just on a messenger thing with these guys all day, and it's super live and back and forth, and like they're just super quick about it. So I sent them like a kind of a janky model, and they're like, oh, hey, we fixed it up, and we think if we do the curves this way, it's much easier to machine, and all this stuff is surprisingly accessible now. Like I don't know if you guys have seen like Norbauer's video on his whole like global manufacturing thing, but it really is true. It's like it's not super hard to make the stuff, but it's just it's super hard to get the stuff to people.
Yeah.
Logistics.
Yeah, designing and manufacturing isn't really the hard part in this in this process.
Right. So.
All right, good stuff.
All right.
Well, we have a lot of news. This might be like one of the most exciting weeks in news. There's a lot of things that have gone down.
So like, when we were talking about this earlier, we're like, when eventually Clack has our 1 year and we have all these cool changes, and I have my awesome little macro pad for OBS, I can just click the button and we'll have an awesome little Clack banner spin with dramatic music, and then we will be at the news viewer, which I just switched to. So, starting off with the first exciting topic is the Kbdfans exclusive new Gateron silent switches in red, brown, and black flavors. They're made just like the cherry and Matthias version, so they have the little bumpers on the side of the sliders. So this is going to slightly reduce travel distance. Probably, my guess is probably reduce it to 3.7, between 3.3 and 3.7 millimeters if they haven't specified. But yeah, silent switches from Gateron. That's cool. And they're 5-pin, which is always a great choice. PCB mount switches are nice.
Yeah. So a couple things to note here. One thing is the price. They are 38 cents a switch, which is, compared to other Gaterons, this is quite a bit more expensive, although it's still reasonable in my opinion. But also, this is the first time we're seeing an MX style switch that's with this method that is tactile. So aside from Cherry, who just has the silent reds and the silent blacks, which are both linear, Gateron's now doing red, black, and brown. Brown being the tactile variant, which is interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, now that Gateron's like doing the silent stuff, I think Kale's just gonna step in and make a box version of this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think like what was Gateron thinking when they decided, let's have brown in this silent line. How can we take our worst switch and make it worse, guys? I need a whole team for this.
That is not their worst switch. Have you ever used Gateron clickies?
Okay, no, they're clears. Their clears are the worst switch. Worse than the clicky. Like,
no, I disagree with that.
I would actually take,
because the clears actually have a purpose.
I would take Gat Blues over Gat Clears.
But we are not the target audience for clears. The target audience for clears are people that actually have like hand and wrist injuries, and like they need lighter switches to type on.
Very true.
Because aside from being light, they're still a good switch. It's a Gateron linear. It's smooth. It's inexpensive.
You can operate with weight floating on it.
You can't say a switch is good or bad based on weight, because weight is preference. Anyways, I said this actually on our dual build stream that we did on Friday or Saturday, Huey. But one thing you guys might be on the lookout for is, now that Gateron has silent browns, silent Zelios might be in our future. Oh. So that's something to consider. I know Zelios obviously an incredibly popular switch in our community, so that would be kind of interesting to see, in my opinion. It would probably cancel out. Yeah, it would probably effectively cancel out the need for silencios, which, if I'm being totally honest, I don't think those sell that well anyways.
They're kind of like canceled out on their own because like all the different Switch manufacturers other than Cherry and Gateron are using non-standard top housings now. And I've tried the silencios I have on like the box switches, not gonna fit obviously.
It doesn't
on
work.
the new housings for Otomu, not gonna fit. On the new housings for normal other Kales and other Switch, not gonna work. So.
Oh, I wonder if we were gonna like cram so much like silencing like silicon stuff in there, it's just gonna end up like emulating rubber dome. It's got a nice mush as you like.
Just make the top housing out of rubber.
Yeah.
You know, the cherry silent switches, the silent reds and the silent blacks, they actually go over pretty well as far as the community is concerned.
I like them. No, I
They're
like
good.
them.
You know, and it's actually a pretty elegant silencing method, all things considered, compared to what else is on the market. They're pretty good switches, so it's kind of cool to see Gateron stepping up here and checking it out. Very interested to try the silent browns. I might actually get some of those just to see.
Just to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously, I don't like most MX tactile switches because I think they're pretty much all just not even average. Because you know, after you use stuff like Alps and Topre, it's like MX tactile switches
It's not even
you.
average. Like the nice way to say it sucks.
Yeah, like Zelios are like they're okay, but like it's just not the same. Like it's not real tactility. It's like a little tiny hiccup on the way down. And like still, like Zelios are like one of the best MX tactile switches we have to offer. But it's just, you know, it's not saying much.
How do you feel about the KL box tactiles? I mean, I hear those are pretty good, right? The burnt orange or brown or whatever that is.
I think they're incredibly smooth with that, which I think is really cool. I think the weighting is good on them. The tactility is not really something that I prefer. It's a very different style of tactility. It feels less like a bump and more like
it's a muted tactility. It's like you're going to a different level.
It's
instead of
it's
bumps,
very
you're like
it's very sharp. It's like a little
like a muted like a clickless click.
Every time you press, you have to kick down a door or something. Like there's not like oh, that's a terrible way to put it, but there's no bump. It stops you, and then you have to just push through it.
It's like you just go to a different level. It's like going down a stairs. You're changing levels. You're not like being bumped while you're walking.
That needs to be the official like quoted like Quakeham's review of the Switch. You know,
kicking down a door.
Yeah, door.
Kicking down doors. Buy some burnt oranges.
But those are the silent Gaterons you can check out at Kbdfans. Looks like it's going to be an exclusive for them for some time. Moving on with the news, we have an update from our good friend J-Chan. A post to clear things up. Paren, please read.
Yeah, so as a lot of people might be aware, J-Chan of Keyclack, who is the owner of Keyclack, he's been relatively absent from the community in general lately. A lot of people have noticed this. A lot of people are not happy about this. But this is a post to kind of tell people what's been going on. He does go into pretty great detail here about his life and what's been happening. Long story short, there's some medical issues going on with his family, and he basically just doesn't have enough time for Keyclack at the moment. He's still trying. You know, this is kind of an unfortunate time for the community because, you know, M65 is shipping now. It's still shipping. He hasn't been able to ship out every single M65 yet, which is very unfortunate. He's been slowly working on it. You know, he's got GMK Muted that needs to be shipped out. I don't know if that's started yet. So, like usual, J-Chan has a habit of biting off more than he can handle. Obviously, J-Chan, very nice guy, very genuine. He's not trying to screw the community in any way whatsoever, despite what people might be saying. But, you know, he's going through some hard times, and, you know, other people aren't really making it any easier, nor is his life. So, you know, once again, it sucks, but that's just the way it goes. Always join group buys at your own risk. If you don't want any delays ever, you should never join a group buy, probably. And, you know, that's just the way it works. So be nice to J-Chan, send him nice comments and stuff. He really is a genuine guy, and he's working on things, but sometimes life gets in the way, and when you're a one-man operation, sometimes you have to deal with real life first. That's just the way it goes.
Best wishes to Jay-chan. That is a rough situation to be in, not business-wise, but life-wise, because that is really rough.
Both, even, because obviously this affects business greatly, too.
I care more about Jay-chan as a person than as Keyclack.
Yeah.
He's a friend, and Jay-chan, when you eventually do watch the VOD of this someday, best wishes to you, man. I know it's tough. But stay strong. Brian and I have always got your back, so do what you gotta do.
All right, Huey, what is this Camp C55?
So here's a little interest check from a Mr. St. Bowen. This is the Camp C255 custom aluminum keyboard, which is a custom TKL with wind keyless blockers, a cool bottom, a fancy brass weight with an aluminum middle piece in the middle of the weight.
Wow.
The nice little. They should have made the triangle, straight up just Illuminati IMO, but it's a triangle, so it's a good start. I love the edges for the bottom, how it curves. That curve.
It's very elegant. Okay.
That's nice. Wow.
In picture number 6 of 20, this is the only picture I see this in. There's a little tiny nameplate in the bottom too. So that's not the weight. It's just like an extra small nameplate. Yes, what does that say?
I'm not sure what that one says. On all the other pictures, they've removed that nameplate.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But there is a slot for the nameplate. I looked at it. It says limited edition 01. In very fancy cursive writing, there's a logo of some kind of deer, and there's a underline and overline on the text.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, that's nice. This is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It's quality. Yeah, this is good.
So I'm looking forward to this.
I like that it's got that NASA-ish font for the camp.
Mm-hmm. I like how there's going to be an option, looks like, in this intercheck for micro arc oxidation. So we're going to get a nice white, hopefully.
Ooh.
Because
in
case you don't know much about manufacturing in chat, a white anodization is essentially impossible.
It pretty much always comes out like a very light silver.
It's always going to be a light silver.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm going to argue that the micro arc oxidation is not really like a perfect white either. No, it's a very dingy kind of creamy white, which is cool. I mean, some people might be into that. But if you're looking for like a true proper like championship white color, that's not the micro arc. Just throwing that out there right now.
So
and even someone in the chat says the micro arc on his Fox 80 is a little bit gray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I guess what is it? It kind of like roughs up the surface a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't quite reflect the right way.
Yep.
So it's going to look,
Either way, it's still nice to have the additional option. Just don't be totally misled and expect like a really bright white out of it.
Mm-hmm. Rest of the specs, those are your options: micro arc oxidation or anodized aluminum. Your weight will be either aluminum, which is pointless, or a brass weight that's going to be polished, not raw. PCB, either a stainless steel or an aluminum plate, wind keyless, with blockers, or just a normal TKL layout. Colors: black, silver, titanium, red, and gold. And for the micro arc oxidation, black or white.
That's actually interesting. Awesome. I don't think I've ever seen the micro arc oxidation in black before. I wonder what that finish looks like.
I think that's like black oxide or something, right? I would assume
it'd just be a black.
I wonder
oxide.
if that's.
Does he have that?
I think that's how the Rama spinner was finished. I think. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I definitely look forward to seeing that though.
Yeah.
So I wonder what the advantage over that is instead of just a normal anodized black. Because traditionally you can anodize black just fine.
For the meme, Brian. For the meme. Okay.
Well, if we know anything about
people
our
love. Yeah, exactly. This hobby, people can say all these crazy things. Like on KB Customs and Discord, Cerakoting is the new meme.
I mean, this is black anodized for the bottom, and it still has a kind of like metallic sheen to it. I think when you do the black oxide, it's much more matte.
Okay.
And that'll probably be really nice because like for the space gray and the black, everything just has that slight sort of metallic glossiness to it, and it'll be nice to be able to do a really flat color.
Definitely, definitely.
Quick poll. If money wasn't an issue, would you get this based off of the design?
Ooh.
Like, do you like the design enough to justify just getting it for that?
I really like the underside, but for the top, it's like it sort of feels like another TKL type of layout, and it's like maybe
it looks good. It's a very elegant looking board, but it's not really new. Like, we've seen this before. Basically, we've seen this tons of times.
That bottom is
to me, it's just another very nice, elegant TKL, of which there are quite a few already. Not that they're all easy to get a hold of, but they are plentiful. They are indeed plentiful.
Yes. But this is the interest check, so let St. Bowen know you are interested if you are interested, and hopefully that will bring this closer to fruition. Although, based on these pictures, it looks like they have actual prototypes, and I mean, it's It's a thing. It's real.
Yeah, like that's not a render.
So that's that. Let's move on to something pretty exciting for a lot of people. So I did my HHKB review recently. Chat, if you haven't watched it, head over to youtube.com/c/INofInterest. I reviewed my HHKB, and one of the unique things about my HHKB that makes it different, aka expensive, is the Hi-Pro keycaps. Fortunately, for a lot of people, there's a new solution other than buying Hi-Pro boards, hopefully. There's an interest check thrown out by Bus Gamer, which is for a high-profile set. And he's already posted pictures of some Hi-Pro keys he's made. Yeah.
Yeah, he's killing it, man. Like I remember when he first started, just making these sort of small one-off stuff, and he did some stuff for the Tokyo meetup, the previous one.
The die-sub ones, right?
The die-sub ones, and now he's like killing it with these casting stuff. He's making the cases. Yeah, and it's super clean, and it's he's running like a super small operation shop out of Detroit, right?
He has a partner, right? He works with someone, I'm pretty sure.
I think it's like Idea23, and it's the brand, right? And the Bus Gamer is like I guess himself. So
there's another guy. There's another guy that works with him.
Right.
I think Idea23 is actually a person, and Bus Gamer is someone different, but they work together.
Right. I forget how that works exactly, but
we had him on the show once, and he did clear that up. I can't remember. Either way, really cool stuff. Hi-Pro is something that is really hard for a lot of people to get a hold of, and it's hard for people to get a hold of inexpensive.
So
because
I feel like you can get the Japanese Hi-Pro set pretty easily. The problem is it just doesn't fit because you have all the the JS layout.
Yeah. So one of the big things I think for people is they don't realize how different Topre Hi-Pro is. A lot of people think it looks like SA. It's probably like no. If you watch my review, for example, I abhor typing on SA. I would rather type on my MacBook than type on SA. And that's like regardless of what switch is under SA. I absolutely love Hi-Pro though. Other than Cherry Profile, it's my only other favorite profile that I will consistently type on all the time.
I mean, like every Hi-Pro key is basically really deep dished, right? It has like that, like
more than people are used to. Especially homing keys.
There are multiple homing keys too.
There are 6 homing keys instead of 2, which
feels awesome.
Just cups your finger. It's like having a finger condom on those 6 fingers.
It sucks your fingers in. It's incredible.
It's great. But
you're one with the keyboard, and the keyboard is one with you.
This interest check prices will be somewhere between $2 to $3 per cap. So if you're looking at filling an HHKB, I mean, it's still not going to be cheap, but it's not going to be buying 2 Hi-Pros worth of boards to fill every cap properly.
Yeah, the downside here obviously is that they're blanks, and they're going to be colored as such, and it's not quite as elegant.
No.
Looking. I mean, I don't know what colors he's going to be offering here.
If you did a board of that full blue, or if you had a turquoise or purple, it really reminded me of like an old see-through Game Boy or NC.
Oh, totally. Yeah, those Oh man, yeah, the purple Game Boy cards. That's so cool.
I had one of those N64 ones, like the purple ones with the.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was. I got that for Christmas in like '97 or whatever.
I would love to do like one of those like the Tokyo 60 version of that. Just take some sort of colored acrylic and just do like a see-through internal, thing with yeah.
I mean, the closest we got was we covered last week the remember the CE edition for the 910 that Utsuki did.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for the limited run that we'll cover later, acrylic wasn't offered, even though it was teased. We'll cover that when we get to it. I know, right?
That was like one of the coolest parts about
that was the only reason I would have joined.
Yeah.
But all the spots filled up in like under 5 minutes, so no worries there. So if this is something you are interested in, let Bus Gamer know, and hopefully these come to market. I think a lot of people would want this, especially just trying it out at any rate.
Yeah. I would love to just get a bunch of like Hi-Pro mods, but use the stock keys in the middle with alphas. You start a new style of like Valley boards or something.
That is that. Let Bus Gamer know you're interested if you indeed are. But moving on next in the news, Jack has teased the Planck Light, which is a Planck but with Kale's new low pro switches. I mean, it's basically a match made in heaven, theoretically, because it's like a small form factor keyboard, you got small form factor switches, you throw them together, and you got small form factor with some more small form factor with some small form factor keycaps on top. So, it's real. It's a thing. Shall we watch this video? You guys want to watch this video? I don't think we should watch this video, but we could.
Nah.
Dude, Jack is like the super like sexy man. Like, have you guys seen the video he posted for the Tokyo meetup or a screenshot? He's sitting from this tree, kind of like in this like super sexy pose, and he's like, "All right, guys, I'm not gonna answer your questions." And he's just like,
everyone's like, "Oh, I'm aroused."
Yeah, we've had Jack on our show before. Yeah, he's a
handsome man. All right. Definitely check out the video if you're interested. We're not going to play it here because we have more things to get to in finite time span. So
I'm guessing we're looking at possibly cheaper price point than even the Planck. I'm not sure what these switches sell for at the moment. Let's see, it's going to be RGB underglow underneath. The lights are under the switches, so they're going to shine through and through the keycaps. The keycaps are basically laptop keycaps. USB-C, which is a hit or miss depending on who you ask. And it's a slim form factor. I mean, this is how Jack got high-profile cases by using lower-profile switches.
Yeah. I mean, when you buy things like the Planck, a lot of times you buy that particular form factor of keyboard because you want less space. So this is obviously in addition to that, and smaller is better.
But it's super interesting because I think Kale's really killing it right now. So the guys who are doing the low pro Ergo Split in Tokyo, they're saying the keycaps were all made by Kale as well.
Yes.
So, so you just get it as a set, and I guess they're trying to roll out and reach out. They're reaching out to, I think, some makers to see who can make a keyboard with their stuff.
Definitely.
Okay, let's move on with something pretty cool. The RMK Secret Santa 2017. Brian, how about you explain this while I use the restroom?
Wow.
Yes, absolutely. So, if any of you remember or were here in the community about, 10 or 11, 12 months ago by now, we did do an RMK Secret Santa last year, 2016, and I thought for the most part it turned out pretty well. It went pretty much exactly how you'd expect a Secret Santa kind of thing to work. You fill out a little form with your information. You are then matched up with someone who theoretically works better for you. I don't know if they do kind of like a specific automated matchmaking system or if they go through hand and do it one by one hand. And it was really cool. I did it. I built and tuned a custom keyboard for my person, and he freaking loved it. It was really, really fun, really awesome. And I also got a really cool gift too, which was
awesome.
this crazy acrylic sandwich hand-wired Space Invader custom Space Invader linear switches, which are like it's so awesome. Anyways, it's a really cool concept, and if you're a big fan of that sort of thing, you should definitely check it out. I know Reddit does a Secret Santa as a whole, like every year, which is really cool. But this is obviously more specific to keyboard stuff. A couple things to note: there's a minimum gift value of $20. You know, that's not too bad. IMO. The sign up ends on November 11th. And then matches are sent November 13th. Gifts must be sent by December 13th, so that way they actually arrive in time for Christmas.
Someone should probably let King Icewind know that November 11th is a Saturday, not a Friday, because that's the day of the NorCal meetup.
It is.
Okay, one person comment that in the thread, or two. And then he will be informed there. Maybe
I almost feel like the Secret Santa should like sink in somehow with the meetup a little better. You know, like I don't know if you actually meet your Secret Santa or something in person.
That would be really cool.
Matches.
But
that'd be cool. I know. Last year a lot of it was kind of regional too. Like a lot of the West Coast people got other West Coast people, and I know several people in Seattle.
That's usually how it goes.
And a lot of people were like, "Yeah, I just met up with my Secret Santa. We had coffee. We exchanged gifts. It was cool."
I feel like if I sign up for this, like it's just gonna be vectored me like sending us each other stuff. You know?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, last time there was an option where you could choose to ship internationally.
Right.
And there was also an option for like a backup Secret Santa. So, you know, if other people didn't get gifts from their Secret Santa, you could sign up to send additional gifts to those people.
Or if you sell like $20 worth of like lube, you know, here's something for your switches.
Here's a barrel of lube.
Here's like literally one vial of lube. Like I bought.
Right.
I was on eBay and I bought half an ounce of Crytox 106. This was like $16 or $17 shipped, basically, for half an ounce of Crytox 106. Anyway, it's getting a little off topic there. Definitely check out the Secret Santa. It's pretty well received at 99% for this post right now. So obviously this is going to be a thing just like it was last year. So if you want to support that and check that out, definitely make sure you do, because it's going to happen either way. And it worked out pretty well last time. I think most people were overall pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
As was I. All right, Huey. What is this? What is our buddy Dave doing?
Our friend Dave over at mechkeys.ca is teasing the 96, is what he's calling it.
I love Dave. I'm gonna say that name is terrible.
The 96.
The 96.
The 96. I don't know how. One word. So to say it really fast, like the 96. The 96.
Hey man, what are you up to? 96 in it.
Maybe if people actually call it the 96, not the 96. I think that could work.
It's not Canadian for something, right? It's like not like a Canadian thing.
A 96 key.
Maybe it is, and maybe we're just not Canadian.
Like we're not. Yeah, we're not.
Any resident Canadians in the chat? Like, is there an inside joke we're missing here? Anyways, naming aside, the board looks pretty darn cool. It looks very unlike any other board we have on the market, which is always good in my opinion.
Yeah, that front smooth.
It's got like a slope on
it. That slope.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
It's cool. It's kind of like a
RGB glow. Obviously, this is just a little teaser, so we don't really have a whole lot of information on this.
No,
it's like a 96 key fill, you know.
The details we do have though is aluminum high profile, top mount plate and PCB, QMK programming, SMD RGB underglow, polycarb base for underglow RGB, limited run of only 50. They'll be on the store for purchase. Future runs planned, not determined. No ETA until the prototype lands.
Yep, limited to 50. All right, That probably won't be too hard to sell 50 of these.
Probably not.
Yeah, I bet these will go relatively fast. So if you're liking that, make sure you're on the lookout for it, so you can hopefully get in this limited production run.
If you missed out on that limited production run, there's an interest check for another 96 keyboard, the R96 aluminum case. which looks a little bit like the ZZ96, if you ask me.
Totally, yeah. Actually, I used to own
96.
I used to own a ZZ96.
So did I.
As soon as I brought this post up, I was like, "That's almost a
Even
ZZ96."
Lunaris is the top comment. Who got gold for this? That's a nice rendered prototype of my board.
Well, it's funny because like 96 keys are like kind of like this type of cases all over Taobao, and you start looking, they're like all these weird kind of small Chinese manufacturers, you know, with all the crazy IP stuff on there, like a Batman logo cut out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a bunch of the variations.
So, any kind of infringement issues aside, I think the keyboard looks nice, as does the ZZ96, in my opinion. Obviously, very similar here. The design on the side is pretty much the same. It's got a little acrylic strip around the entire thing, just like the ZZ96. Except it's called the R96, not to be confused with the RS96. So, very similar naming scheme for some of these boards, unfortunately.
So if you scroll down a little bit, there's an album that the group the Intersect Runner posted, and I hate this album because he mixes pictures, render pictures, with like real prototype pictures in the same album.
Right.
Mm.
I'm like,
So
it's
you're
really
never sure
obvious.
where you're getting.
It's kind of for his pictures. It is pretty obvious, but it's still like, come on, man, give me separate albums. I want to see what's just the renders and what the real deal is.
Oh wow, how do you guys feel about those feet? Because that has like the real you know, the R96-ish kind of feet. Right.
Well, it's not. That's like,
Duck
is that even
inspired.
feet though, or is that's like
No, it's
the
not
entire
feet. Yeah, it's
case?
the
It's just
bottom.
cutouts on the side.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's cut out.
So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that's just part of the bottom. Like, it's not actually like feet that you install.
Yeah.
But
So like it's not on this keyboard, but you know, something that really bugs me is when people do that kind of cutout for like the foot on the back, because you know the keyboard's at an angle, but then sometimes people have the foot coming out like 90 degrees, and so you have this really weird. It looks like an elephant foot that sort of widens as it goes. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Kind of. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
I'm a much bigger
these guys
fan
did well.
of this, and I like all case. I don't want a flat keyboard that I install feet on. I want all keyboard.
All about that case. Estimated to be around $300 whenever the group buy starts.
So that's obviously a direct competitor to the ZZ96, which was also in that price range.
So
interesting to see if this will happen. Obviously, it seems really well received on Reddit, regardless of Lunaris posting that comment.
yeah.
I mean, it's a super popular layout. So
yeah.
Same
board.
PCB used for the ZZ96 is going to be for this case.
Which is a PS2 AVRGB
Yes.
base, which runs the bootmapper client.
Cool.
All right.
That is that for that. And now moving on to this cool prototype, this Linotype Lana 65% board.
whoa.
I just like all that thick acrylic. I got thick acrylic plates, got a thick acrylic bottom.
This is
Setting up
intense.
It has this super like retro futuristic kind of feel to it, you know, with like the it was like XDA.
You know what
keys,
all
I can't
these
really tell.
colors remind me of in all these render pics? It reminds me, for some reason, of Superman's Fortress of Solitude.
Yes, yes.
That's what all the colors in these renders remind me of. Like this is the keyboard Superman would use while brooding in his Fortress of Solitude. Like, Lois is mad at me today.
That's why it's called the Lana, and its keyboard is Solitude.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's really cute though. That's really.
Yeah, it's
really
like it's the top part is aluminum and the underside is acrylic. Looks like it has an acrylic plate also.
I'm
or
looking
polycarbonate.
at that plate on picture 6, and if you look at the space bar, it does look like the stabs will be serviceable without desoldering because there's cutouts for the stab wire
that's cool.
that runs across.
Yeah, which is really common for
For acrylics.
acrylic plates.
Yeah,
like
which is
any
great.
like WinKeyless board, like D-Face or something, also has that feature as well.
Man, something really dumb I did for like an early prototype of Tokyo 60 was, you know, because the PCB is mounted on the top of the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a fat cutout So like, oh yeah, like the PCB mounted stabs will just go through the fat cutout, and I don't need to have like a plate around that part. But I realized if you push down on the key, you're just gonna push the PCB like down because there's nothing supporting it on the bottom. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, different
That
was
stupid.
Live and learn. Live and learn.
Yep. So.
Yeah. So this is. He doesn't have it labeled as an interest check, but it's more or less an interest check. So if you're into that, definitely check that out. That's pretty different from a lot of other things we have on the market, which is nice.
Yep. So it is what it is. Moving.
Speaking of different,
on, we covered the 50% version last week, and Brian and I were like, they're definitely making a 60% version. Look at this case.
They heard our prayers.
Yeah.
This is a lot of hype for me. I absolutely love this.
Kbdfans pricing.
Oh yeah, this is going to be like $150 case.
Between 160 and 180.
Okay.
Like with
pretty
PCB
reasonable.
and switches and everything.
That's what I would wager on, because it is more aluminum than the Tina.
Right.
So I know for sure it will be more than the Tina. I'm pretty confident.
Probably more intricate machine work too, with the way these corners, edges are.
Yeah.
Hexagonal corners. Yum.
Yeah.
I love that kind of like low poly kind of really faceted. I think that's the
Yeah,
best
the
name.
faceted sides. Yeah.
Either way, this looks absolutely extraordinary. We'll definitely make these. Actually, I was so ambitious. I actually emailed this guy yesterday and asked if I could have a review sample for this.
So ambitious.
I don't expect a reply, but that's fine.
Brian, when are we gonna do our dual build streams of this?
That'll happen.
That'll happen.
One way or another, getting this.
Brian's gonna be
this
getting
case.
one. I'm gonna be getting one. Top Clack build stream in the future.
Dude, these guys are killing it though. I mean,
They are.
Kbdfans are gonna like knock everyone out of the game. Like the designs are getting much better now, and the pricing is kind of unbeatable. So sorry guys, I'm gonna put some power here.
No worries.
But when I talked to you a while back, you brought up a good point that they do China very well.
Right, because that's the whole thing. Like everyone else is trying to work from China from outside, but they're based there. They can get probably the best deal, the best price. Yeah.
Yep.
How's the audio, guys? Is the music coming through too loud?
It's fine. It's fine.
All right.
Anyways, very much so looking forward to this case, as should everyone else. It's awesome. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I so want to figure out how to get their pricing for everything, So.
Yes. Okay. That's unfortunately just a little bit of a tease, so hopefully we all get more information on that sooner rather than later. Let's move on to something that felt like the worst kind of tease when it was unveiled.
Go ahead. I actually have some follow-up information on this, though. But go ahead.
So, this person, Datums, originally posted like, hey, I'm working with Minivan and I'm working with Phil, and everyone's like hating on... Well, to be fair, this is like the worst press release I've ever read, and like seeing his reactions, I'm like, dude, do you not know how to community? Like, do you not know how to people? But hey, whatever. These are official Fiel cases. This person is working with Leandrin, I believe, according to Brian's follow-up, which we'll get to soon. Okay, maybe not then. We'll see. But this person claims these are licensed cases working with Leandrin. But like this person's like doesn't even like know keyboards. They said, quote, "I understand Van PCBs are very good." Like,
yeah, they will.
It's a good PCB. You're right about that, but it will not fit the Fiel if you like just were into the hobby a little bit.
So a couple things to note here. I don't know if he actually removed it from the post, but he says, he says the designs have to be PCB specific. So for the 60% cases, we have to settle on a particular PCB. There is a standard for 60% PCBs. As far as mounting goes,
anything about this case.
There is a standard for it. So I'm not sure what he's getting at here. I don't think this guy really knows keyboards. I think he's just like he's good at machining or whatever, and like he's like trying something.
I was talking to Brian about this yesterday, and I was like, this is someone who should just remain a manufacturer, and that's it. Like, if he is working with Evan, which Evan did confirm in the comments, have Evan do all the talking, because we like Evan. Yeah. This guy, so far, doesn't know how to talk, which is odd, because he's a mod of another subreddit, but that's something else. So, I mean, it's like as if, like, he posted this without doing any research, which is unfortunate. They also won't have the inlaid weight.
Yeah, so I actually talked to Leandrin a little bit about this, and I said, "Hey, what's going on here?" And from what I gathered, this guy asked Leandrin if he could do like a similar design, and Leandrin was basically like, "Yes, I don't own chamfered edges. Like, I can't patent that. Like, obviously the Fiel is a specific design; it's specific to Leandrin." Well, that's how it should stay.
I mean, I feel like that was the wrong move. He should have called all chamfered edges Leandrin edges, and stop anyone from making Leandrin edges.
So as far as I'm aware, I obviously don't have all the information, but as far as I'm aware, after talking to Leandrin, this guy is basically using the Fiel name without asking.
That's super shady.
That was never part of the agreement.
That's shitty.
Yeah, so apparently that was never part of the agreement. There's potentially a lot less connection to Leandrin than this guy is leading on, and I can't speak for Evan, but Evan does post a little bit in the chat. Maybe he's working a lot more closely with Evan, the Van Man. That's cool.
Because I remember Evan was setting up his own production facilities in
he is. He's working
somewhere in the States, right?
Oh wait, Evan's in chat. He said, "Hey, no."
Okay.
No, apparently not. Yeah.
Learn us, Evan.
Yeah,
What's going on?
I mean, we'd love to hear your side while we are talking on this subject. His initial post was not confirmed with him. Oh, okay. Now, so you're doing it post his initial post, which is also very shitty by him.
And so this guy is
wow.
This guy is not only kind of making stuff up, but he's very jumping the gun, it sounds like.
He's blatantly lying at the moment, actually, because he doesn't have an NDA with Evan, which is...
well, I mean, it gets tough, right? When, hey, you're actually using... since the band is a proper company, right? It has trademarks and copyrights and all that sort of stuff. And you can't sort of, represent them on their behalf. And, being in the U.S. as well, I feel like if it's a Chinese company, that's what are you gonna do? But if you're both based in the States, it's like, hey man,
he's Zaprisco in the USA is their factory or whatever they call their design group. But that's them. If we want to place blame, which I guess we should, because that is the adequate thing to do in this situation. Thank you, Evan, by the way, for setting us straight with all this information. I did see some of your posts below, which you said you were talking to him, so I thought that stuff was more confirmed, but it looks like it was just a talk.
So apparently things kind of happen here, but he's definitely not only jumping the gun, but he's kind of misleading people a little bit.
I wonder if it's
more than just jumping there. He's shooting the wrong gun.
See, the reason why this is kind of fishy also is because the round 2 for Fiel is really right around the corner. It's not far away. So to have something like someone else doing a quote unquote Fiel design only hurts Leandrin. It takes business away from him unless he's getting some significant.
I would love to see him make a Fiel that fits a Van PCB.
Yeah, right.
And just have all the
that's what he's considering, apparently. So,
a 40% in the 60% case, and that will be super unique.
There's just more bezel.
Yes. At that point, it's like the 40% version of the Exent.
Yeah. Anyways, very very strange post. I don't know if this guy necessarily means anything evil. This could kind of just be like a Hanlon's razor kind of scenario. I don't know, man. It's tough to say right now, but this guy clearly jumped the gun and didn't let out all the information that should have been let out.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I think a lot of people don't quite understand how connected this community is and how updated people are on the news and how people actually know each other here.
Yeah. Like it's
It's like-
a tight knit community.
Okay, guys,
Yeah.
Another thing that's
I'm gonna take their solution. I'm gonna put my 40% PCB into my new keyboard, guys. Bam.
Hey, wow, look at that
Bam.
bezel. That's sexy.
incredible.
Right?
Such bezel.
I
Oh
have
my god.
keycaps
Yeah.
in the bezel. That's how.
Well, hey,
how bomb I am.
I hear those PCBs are the best PCBs. So
They might. Yeah, I've never owned a minivan, but I imagine the PCBs are nice. It's funny to say that. Another thing that's kind of funny is he says we want to start shipping units by the end of September.
Okay.
What month? I don't know. Huey, what month is it right now?
Well,
Is it like?
It's hold on. We just finished. We've just finished August, and October is next. Hold
This
on.
guy wants.
Hold on.
This guy
Let
wants
me
to ship
just
units
crunch
this much.
the numbers real quick. Gotta get my spreadsheets out. It might be September, Brian.
I imagine this guy has not started any of these units yet, and he wants to ship stuff
In 15
This-
minutes.
in 2 weeks.
this isn't just like a massive troll, right? Like,
Honestly, it could be. This could totally be a troll, potentially. I don't know.
it's so like
I mean,
You know,
this guy's
maybe September 2018. That's more believable. That's like
Okay.
in within community expected timelines.
I always love to take because he's gonna make this stuff out of wood, right? Just take a block like a 2x4 and like chamfer the edges, like hack it off with a saw, and just call it a fail. You like
He says
Nail
he will
into it.
be sandblasted, anodized aluminum,
Sealed rusted iron.
seal rusted iron. We will also be doing exotic hardwoods. So this guy is really trying to go the whole 9 yards here and do all sorts of things. Anyways, that's a strange situation.
So
that's yeah.
Yeah.
that's just a thing. Not even
Yeah.
this isn't like a good post. I mean, it has a 51% upvote ratio, sitting at
Which is
1
actually-
point.
Which is actually up quite a bit. When I first saw this post, it
Like-
was like 19%.
Yeah.
So this
Oh,
post
man.
got a lot more positivity since last I viewed it.
I don't know. I almost wow.
Even 27 is the newest one of the top posts, and he's like, "You seriously need to work on your delivery." Yes, person. This person does. Very, very much so. If you read any of their other posts as you go down, like it's like, do you listen to yourself? Like, do you?
Yeah, I think this guy's just immensely out of touch with this community and like doesn't know or really understand keyboards or the community in general.
Yeah.
Which is really bad to try to start pitching stuff like this.
I totally want to see if he has like other posts in like I don't know other random communities like I don't know PC Master Race.
No,
or,
you
hey,
know,
guys,
he's a subreddit.
Yeah.
He's a mod of his own subreddit.
Okay,
okay.
surprising.
So I mean, you think you'd be decent
Yeah.
at talking to people, but that is
Yeah.
how it is. I mean, hopefully he does decide to get into the hobby and make original cases that are his own and can redeem himself. That's the hope at any rate, But
But just I guess that's a really interesting segue into like the next topic.
right,
Yeah, in fact, I was going to say,
I was gonna-
Deadline in chat says, "Oh, drama on Keyclack? Say it ain't so." I maybe he means Top Clack, but that's pretty. Normally, we don't talk about drama, so it's kind of fun that we actually have two fairly major drama topics this week.
Ooh.
Well, the other one was this is not really a drama one. This next one definitely is a drama one. So let's just jump into it, okay? Let's just jump into it. Okay, so for preference, we just randomly chose one of the RMK posts of the like 6 that talk about this situation. B-dubs. I don't know why Brian chose the one that didn't have a link to Input Club's official posts.
I think when I added it to the doc, this was the post about it.
But I mean, Andrew's in chat. Hopefully, he can get us the. There you go. Like I said, he would get us the actual post, which I will pop open, which is the update number 8 for the White Fox. 2 steps forward, singular forward, 1 back. And I'm just gonna skip all the good, juicy update news that is positive and wonderful, because no one wants to talk about this. Unfortunately, everyone wants to talk about the other poor stuff. So I'm just going to read this verbatim so everyone can have a clear slate of what's been officially said before we dive into it and put our own thoughts on it, okay? So, quotes. We have encountered some unexpected pushback from one of our former partners, Massdrop, on the topic of the Halo switches. We, Input Club, developed and invented the Halo switches and worked with Massdrop to finance the physical tooling that allows them to go to mass production. We assigned Massdrop the patent rights in exchange for a royalty and a license back that we believe allows us to source the switches for use in the keyboards. But when we tried to order switches for the White Fox Night Fox, Massdrop would not let us source them. They then claimed to own the Halo name and asked us to give up the license back altogether. So we would essentially lose all access to our own invention. This is very confusing for us at Input Club, as we are mostly a team of engineers and are not used to dealing with people who act in this manner. Unfortunately, we don't have any more information right now as how the situation will unfold. Fortunately, we work very closely with our factory and suppliers and were able to discuss the best path forward. Many words were shared, but essentially the discussion concluded with us needing to develop a brand new switch in order to meet the commitments on the White Fox keyboard. This process will take approximately 5 weeks to get ready for production, and within that timeline, we can still plan on fulfilling in December 2017, although it may be late December. These switches will still be 100% Cherry MX compatible and designed by us to be visually different from the older switches pictured below. To summarize, everyone in the campaign that chose Halo switches will be getting a superior product without having to contribute more money, and while it is going to cost us quite a bit extra to produce, we're optimistic it won't increase the time.
I totally hope they call it like the Satan switch or something, you know.
The Satan switch. Oh man,
Just the
That'd be pretty funny.
Right.
That would be pretty funny. So we do have Andrew of Input Club in the chat, and that is cool. But obviously, Top Clack is kind of a neutral entity. We're not really gonna sit here and play favorites and take sides. We're just gonna approach the topic with the information we have. So don't expect us to sit here and bash one way or the other.
But I will say, in that vein, that in the same way, Top Clack will never be, obviously will never be 100% neutral because we're all human. But I'm just gonna put my view forward out the gate, which is an admission this isn't 100% neutral, but this is how I feel about it. This subject is very, very subjective, about who's doing the right thing or who may not be doing the right thing. That's all subjective, and the way I see it is, look at that word, subjective. One party thinks they're right, the other party thinks the other party's wrong, or vice versa, whatever. But the big thing about things being subjective is the subject. That's the key root word of subjective. And the way I always view situations like this is I always put the community as the subject. How has the community, or will the community, be affected as a subject because of this decision? I think it might be maybe early for us to really decide, but that's something that as a community we should really look at, because at the end of the day, any product developed is, unless it's a private group buy, developed for the community.
So I think that's super interesting, and this, along with the the JChan stuff and a lot of the E8 V1 stuff, it really is. It feels like we are at a certain point where we're trying to do bigger releases. We're inventing our own switches, and these things sort of are not group buy level stuff now. And contracts will start to matter, patents will start to matter, trademarks will start to matter, and it's just a whole new ballgame that I think we're seeing almost drama right now, because we're in that stage of transition, right? And the things that we're used to doing just don't quite work anymore. Like the White Fox or Night Fox also is it's getting kickstarted, and that's gonna be huge, right? And how does stuff work when we start transitioning these different sort of different scale, and Massdrop, that's a tough position for them to be in, right? Because they arguably launched the White Fox, right? And how does that work when they move it over to Kickstarter versus doing maybe doing another larger one on Massdrop instead or something? And yeah, like with the Tokyo 60, trying to think about how this stuff works. How do we actually fulfill well, but how to also set up the contracts and stuff so that they're going to be super not right, but how do you just do it right so you don't end up in this sort of situation? Because I guess this stuff will start happening, right? When you're trying to deliver a product not to 50 people, but 100, 500, and 1,000. So.
It's interesting you're saying like the community is finally like reaching this point, because for those of you in chat, probably most of you don't know, I work in the solar industry, and a few years ago solar was extremely booming in the West Coast because a lot of it was unregulated and there was a lot of funding going on, and the term was used that basically at the time solar was like the new Wild West in a way, the industry. And I kind of feel like the same way for keyboard. It's starting to take off really fast now and get much bigger, but things still haven't developed to that scale. So we're in our own almost lawless Wild West where, there are, showdowns at high noon and all these different things. Yeah, this metaphor is going places. And this is kind of how things are going until things stabilize and we start having, big foundations for the keyboard that's outside of just this is the community culture and people have stuck to it, but solidified foundations on how vendors act, whether it's legally or socially, and etc.
But also, with that, because it's getting so big now, people need to start. I guess your larger vendors like a Mash need to start doing like a IP grab, right, to lock in their share of the community, and so like it's not hard to see them doing stuff like this because it's like, well, hey, that's a huge loss for them, right?
Yeah, I think judging by the posts, the way this drama is kind of unfolding, the replies in a lot of these posts, the overwhelming opinion here is that Massdrop is doing something very unethical, legality aside. And they should not be doing this, obviously. And this is a small community. We need to work together. We need to do this the right way, etc. The second opinion, which isn't as popular, but I've still seen pop up, is that Input Club might have messed up on the legality side of it, and they gave Massdrop too much control, or something didn't exactly happen the way it should have. Because obviously Input Club designed these switches and is, they're the ones who invented them. Like they should have the rights to do what they want with these switches.
But
that's kind of like
I feel like this is a really typical thing that happens, with people on the creating side, right? If you're an engineer or designer, you're so much more, you care about making the best stuff or new stuff, and you sort of forget to patent, trademark, or do these things well, because if you're in the community, right, it's all about sharing and like, hey man, that's a cool idea, great. But once you start, dealing with the business, right, it's like, you sort of leave yourself open to get screwed over, because you realize these people don't think in the same way. They're not really about being super collaborative or idea sharing. They're about capturing value and maximizing return, right? So, and yeah. So.
Yeah. So it's hard to say where this will go. I don't think there's been any kind of like official retort from Massdrop yet. I expect that to happen.
I checked 10 minutes before the stream started, and as of then, there was no official response.
Yeah, and if you remember from not too long ago, Mateo actually made a post about the White Fox on Massdrop and why it wouldn't be on Massdrop, and he had said that Massdrop are bullies. So that wasn't even too long ago, and obviously we're hitting more White Fox drama here with the Halo switches.
You know what would be a really shit stirring thing to do? Is just put up like a Massdrop and Input Club debate at the meetup November 11th. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
No. Yeah. But it's crazy, right? Because like looking at Mashtrap and trying to understand their stance on the sales and community, because you're looking at their sort of Keyclack ripoff, Artisan Cap, and stuff like that. It's like, I wonder what their strategy is and what they feel. I guess, do they think that their community is just so much bigger, and they have access to a bunch of different people, where if they do these things, they're not going to lose enough customers, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Mashtrap is obviously a very large entity in the keyboard world, more so than Input Club, depending on how you look at it. But it does go back to morality a little bit. Is this really like the ethical thing for Mashtrap to do, or is it really all just about the money at this point for them?
Well, I mean, for them, I wonder how much of a choice they actually really have on this, And it's like, as the company, and if you have to look at your P&L and stuff, and it's like, well, dude, if they don't act in that way, how does that mean they have to act for all these other relationships? And does it mean they're going to be, just thinking from their business side? Like I wonder how many options they really have that they can count on. So
yeah, and in that little post where Andrew, whoever wrote it, says we're a team of engineers.
Right.
We're not used to dealing with this kind of behavior, and maybe that can be tied back into maybe Input Club just wasn't as prepared with their business proposal / all the legal forms. Obviously, okay, so none of us have any of like the actual contract in front of us. We don't know word for word what the contract says, what each party was entitled to. So,
right.
We can only make opinions based on the information that we have available to us.
Right.
So we haven't talked to Mashtrap, we haven't talked to Input Club in particular, and like gotten all these details. So,
it'd be really awesome to just have like someone in the community who's a lawyer to help draft like, community and Mashtrap contracts.
Yeah. Andrew says Mashtrap authored every contract. FYI, maybe that's a problem then.
I think that's not so much an issue, but I guess it's not so much the author, but do you have legal advice or counsel on your side so that you can amend or revise things, and sort of being on that side, you will try and put stuff in the contract that will protect yourself, or have the option to take advantage, just because you don't know if. Anyways, it's like people will try to push stuff on you, and it's on the ball's in your court to say, these 5 terms suck, or that's not right. You can't.
You have a strong point about that, but Evan in chat just said like his contract with Mashtrap was sketched, and he didn't get it until after the drop, which is in a way nothing he can do about if it's after the drop. It's more like signed.
You didn't get the contract until after the drop,
right?
That's kind of strange.
I mean, like we deal with a lot of that stuff here in Japan for this business, right? And it's just a lot of it is just once you're in negotiations, it's game time, Yeah,
and I think part of this was even if Mashtrap was the author of the full contract, Input Club obviously still agreed to it, but I don't think Input Club would ever be like, hey, Mashtrap is going to screw us here. We should try to amend this. Blah blah blah. Like they probably never saw any of these issues coming. And why would they? They've worked together before, and they probably had at least an okay relationship as far as the business side of it went. But it's mutually beneficial theoretically.
But I think it's good because seeing like Evan now has a lawyer, which is great. I hope Input Club has lawyer now.
If they didn't have one before, they probably have one now.
Right. And I'll probably have to reach out to our lawyer and just help take a look at some contract stuff. You know what I mean? It really is at that next phase right now where this is what people have to start doing, and it's definitely.
It's like I mentioned earlier. It's the Wild West now. There is no big system to organize everything. You have a bigger gun, and
Yeah.
in this case, the gun is a lawyer, obviously. But it's the Wild
Right.
West. People are running wild with designs, with legality, with ethics.
Right.
In our industry, and it's gonna be like this for a while. So if this is something that you're getting into as a designer, creator, producer like yourself, like possibly soon to be me, but that's a teaser for another time. You have to now come in. You can't. It's not the good old days where everything was just a simple one-man run show on Keyclack with a shitty Excel sheet, even though people still do that.
But that's what I mean. Look, I mean, you guys have a freaking live show on keyboards. The community is big enough to support stuff like this, and have it be super interesting. And yeah, I mean, we'll see, because it's going to be. You probably see a lot more shit shows happening. Like key sets are going to be a big issue, right? Because there's only a limited set of colors you can run for those things. So who's to say, hey man, like who owns the colorway and stuff, right? And can you even do that? I think we've been through that a little bit before. But with sort of larger runs, when people sort of try and make more money off of stuff at scale, I wonder if we're going to start seeing more official, like, legal stuff, versus just like, hey man, that's not cool to run that colorway, Yeah.
Andrew actually brings up an interesting fact. So he says, for the Infinity Ergo Docs, White Fox, and Infinity, we never even had a contract. These contracts are a very new thing this year. That's pretty interesting, actually. So obviously, Massdrop is pretty new to doing it, if it's this recent, because the previous White Fox run wasn't even like that long ago.
Yeah.
So Christopher Tien also brings up an interesting point. He says that adds so much to the cost of a keyboard. Lawyers aren't cheap. That's really true. And for entities like Massdrop and probably even Input Club, the cost of a lawyer isn't gonna like destroy your company. But if you're like a really like new startup and you don't have resources for this, then like what do? You're just screwed.
Well, that's the thing. So more people are gonna have to start treating it more like a business than like, hey man, like an artisanal thing.
Yeah.
Because you just have a lot more costs. So
the Wild West, people are just throwing punches and getting punched. It's wild out there.
So apparently we're just not really a family anymore, and it's we're all businesses now. So you gotta protect yourself.
Yeah, but for now,
it's a shitty situation for all. Honestly,
I think all we can do is wait until Massdrop's official statement if they post one. So we will wait on that. I don't think there's much more for us to invest, at least on our side, to investigate until we have more information yet. So,
one thing I do want to touch on really quick though
before I start.
The end of that article, a couple things were known. Their Input Club is going to effectively be working on a new switch that is supposed to be a substitute for these Halo switches. It says they're gonna be 100% Cherry MX compatible. They're gonna be designed by Input Club, and they will be visually different from the older switches pictured below, which was a Halo switch.
It will also be a superior product.
Okay, that's
and you know
cool.
what?
So
switch superior.
If Hata says he can make a superior switch, I believe him.
Yes.
So many data points to pull from.
Andrew actually says the design has already been completed and the tooling has begun, which is really interesting. Does that mean was the design completed before this issue with Massdrop happened? Because that'd be a pretty interesting preemptive approach.
I mean, I feel if
arguably, I mean, if this is being talked about now, most likely there have been issues between the parties.
I don't know, man, because I feel like Input Club loves their stuff so much. They probably have 10 other designs lined up.
Knowing Jacob, he's like, I got 18 different Switch designs, and these are just for Tactile, man. Just
exactly.
For
it's like great. Let's move on to the next design. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
But that was awesome. A good point to bring up. So until we get an official statement from Massdrop, unfortunately, that's all we have for now in this regard. So let's move on to our Q&A portion. And for those of you in chat, you know the drill. Unless you haven't watched before, feel free to ask Brian, myself, or our guest Alvin any questions about anything or keyboards. And while we wait, let's start with our normal top clack question. I think we asked you last time. Alvin.
Yeah, so basically my answer is going to have to be a combination. I wonder if I can make a pan waffle or something. I don't know what that would mean.
A waffle cake.
Okay.
Waffle cake.
I like where this is going.
I'm going to have to try and figure out how to make one of these things and, like, I don't know.
Okay.
Put it on your show next time.
Possibly.
For your anniversary, maybe.
Ooh, that'd be good. Possibly an idea, okay? If someone out there is crazy enough for this, okay. Hear this, guys, okay? You have a pancake, circular, of course, not pancake, but it's circular. The outside is like a waffle, so the outside is all the flavor pockets, but the inside is flat and soft, like a pancake. Okay, so it's crispy on the outside, but softer and pancake on the inside. So it's two parts.
But how would you actually make that? Because
I don't know.
waffles and pancakes have very different procedures.
Exactly.
For construction.
I don't know how that would actually be made, but I think if someone
like
could make
CNC pancake patterns, or
that
like
would be
3D printed
amazing.
pancakes.
I mean, basically, you'd have to make a waffle maker, but the center would have to be all flat. And then you pour pour the waffle on the outside, and pour the pancake on the inside.
Yeah.
Camel Leopard says we stray farther from God's light every day. Oh man,
We're just a sick community, guys.
Yeah. Melodit says the crispness of a waffle and the fluffiness of a pancake. So it's kind of like a Belgian waffle, because a Belgian waffle tends to be very thick and fluffy while still being crispy on the outside.
I'd like to think that someone asked this question like hundreds of years ago and came up with the Belgian waffle. You know, they were faced with the same dilemma, and like,
they're like, we know we might be on Top Clack someday.
Exactly. Exactly.
Obviously, we were a thing back then. People are just trying to come up with other names for your
cakes,
cake, waffles, wan cakes, waff cakes, the pan tricks. You guys are crazy.
I love that waffle cake icy.
The pancake maker, I see.
Anyways, we're doing Q&A right now. If you guys have any particularly genuine questions for Alvin or Huey or myself, definitely put those in the chat so we can get to those, and we will wrap up here shortly.
I'll do a little show and tell. Today, I got in my GMK Honeywell set.
That's beautiful.
Which is found its home on my X60, which is the next review I'm currently working on, which will come out. You guys know I take.
That's really interesting that you have an X60 with Honeywell on it, because so do I.
God,
So
we're twinsies.
I'm not using the accent keys because I'm
good. It'll distinguish our keyboards. The way I see it, our keyboards are sisters from a different mister.
Although, one cool thing about my keyboard is I have the only keyboard with this particular switch type.
Which we read on the name. We should tell everyone the name. So it's remember like I said.
Email live in it. So,
are we getting a live demonstration?
You get a live demonstration of some coffee?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so here's
Awesome.
a question for you guys. Pancakes or waffles? Pancake ski or waffle ski? どっちか? Pancake, waffles. どっちか好き? Pancakes. We have one pancake. You?
ワッフルあんまり食べない。
すごい。 Very sugoi.
So one waffle and one pancake. So, I'm sorry, we still have waffle cakes.
Waffle cakes, got it. All right, well, somebody needs to get started on this pancake waffle hybrid thing, because it's going to be really tough to make, I feel like.
We'll get our top people on it.
I bet you Kbdfans could do it.
You know what? They
would probably do it for a very reasonable price, too.
Exactly.
Anyways, so in my X60 here, I am using Holy Pandas.
Those are the official name of the Switch, everyone, by the way. Top Clack has... This is the new decree that Top Clack is laying down. If you are the first person who has been documented to make a Switch to use a Switch variety, I believe you should have the right to name it, if it's not entirely stupid.
Don't worry, this isn't entirely stupid. This is just kind of stupid. So we're calling them Holy Pandas. Effectively, it's a panda housing and spring for this one, and I use the stems from Halo switches, Halo Trues for this, but it doesn't matter because.
Quakes, I think you're going to say Halo TM now, or registered.
Oh, yes.
Halo, yeah. Sorry, I need my lawyer on that right now. The official Top Clack lawyer. you're out there and you're watching and you're a lawyer, you know, come talk to us. But yeah, so this is actually the only time I've really used an MX style tactile switch and been like super happy about it. It's very similar to Topre. It's like all curve. It's not like a little hiccup on the way down. It's a very big bump. It's very snappy. I lubed them a little bit. They're fantastic. I can't wait for Hata to try these. I can't wait for Huey to try these. I can't wait for everyone at the NorCal meetup to try these, because I will have them there. It's going to be super hype. And people are going to be like, what are these? I'm not going to label it. I'm just going to like have people type on it and be like, what the... How is this even a...
We have a question. Amazing.
So we have a
thank you so
question.
much. From Catlock Wow. 45 or 55 gram Topre?
50, of course.
55.
Yeah, the 55 push is really, yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
It's not even because it's just heavier and that's a preference. It's because 55 gram are actually more tactile.
Yeah, because that dome, like the crispness of that is really, really nice on 55s.
Yeah.
I really dislike the 35 gram Topre.
Yeah, it feels like you're typing in pudding.
Exactly. Oh, and BKEs I have not tried, so I can't comment.
One brings up a question, a follow-up question for that. BKE or 55 gram. I am still a 55 gram enthusiast there. I have tried BKE on several boards. It can be nice. It can be. I've tried it on boards where it's a little too much for me. I do think that too much is kind of extreme. So 55 gram is definitely still my sweet spot.
Oh, it's a complete non sequitur. I just realized, if you made a waffle pancake, a waffle keyboard, right, but made like a pancake case for the keys, you can get your waffle pancake waffle thing.
What?
I mean, I like someone else's idea of like just make a pancake half done, and then when you flip it onto a waffle maker for a little bit, and then take it off.
Genius.
And I mean,
that is
I
genius,
don't own a
man.
waffle maker, so I can't do that because you guys know I'm a pancake guy.
This is why this is like the best community, guys. So.
So
Avid U2 tagged us.
Let's Avid user really wants us to talk about one of those two things. So let's
talk about both.
Sorry.
Yeah, let's talk about one of them. Let's talk about the Jetfire, the duck one, which is the 18 compact SQ style 1800 case.
Okay.
International group buy is starting, I think, later this month or next week, but not yet. It's a duck board, so it has duck feet.
Yeah.
Looks like a duck board.
Really, it looks like a duck board.
It looks nice. It doesn't look like anything we haven't seen from Duck before, aside from being an 1800 style layout. So a compact SQ layout. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice.
Oh, so for you guys, I guess watching the stream right now, the IC went live during the show, but also just added the prototype gallery up there with actual prototypes. Sorry, I put some text over them. But if you guys want to take a look,
feel free to spam that link as often as you want.
Okay. Trying to figure out how to computer here. But definitely, would appreciate just any thoughts you guys have on this stuff, man, or like some feedback or whatever.
Will do.
Let's briefly touch on this other topic that he wanted us to talk about, the canoe by percent. I think it looks fantastic.
Yes.
I can't afford one, but I want one.
Is that like a Manila?
No, it's a 65% layout,
right?
But it has a blocker to separate the arrow keys. So kind of a
same
kind of
avenue the 910 took with that blocker on the 65%.
Yeah, personally, I think the canoe actually looks a little bit better.
I agree. Unless it was the acrylic 910, then I mean that.
Yeah, I really wanted to see one of those in person.
Oh man,
there's not enough super awesome acrylic boards in the community, and there needs to be.
Canoe's cool though. I kind of want it,
nice.
but I don't know if I want to spend the money for it because I couldn't. Supposedly, I have Telios waiting in my mailbox downstairs, supposedly.
Oh,
downstairs.
nice.
Yeah. So maybe I'll throw those on a board eventually. So I mean, 2 colors so far. I hope like we kind of like what Alvin talked about. They should just work on doing this a small amount of colors, but keep them really good, really crisp, and make sure the run everything is good. Not too many combinations. Easier logistics, easier shipping. Works well for everyone.
Dixie Mech said, "Can we talk about the Tokyo 60 again?" I think you should be a little bit more specific there, Dixie Mech. Though, like, is there anything in particular you want to talk about? Because we talked about it quite a bit earlier. So instead of just kind of rehashing all that, if there's something that you want to know in particular, that'd be a good question.
He did ask, are there different options for the bottom case, or are you just trying to narrow it down at the moment to the one?
So, for the bottom of the case, that I'm trying to have a ton of different versions. So, the bottom of the Tokyo 60s, let me just pull up the prototype, is actually flat. So, let me get some parts here. Let me know if the lighting works, because I can't really see my screen.
Yeah.
So, it's this, and then just a flat piece of aluminum with like a little groove there so the PCB can sit in it. And the idea is to make this super easy to manufacture, so we can run it in tons of different materials, options, whatever. I'd love to see one made out of wood. I have actually some like sneaker sole material coming in that I'm gonna try and basically put like a foamed cushioned bottom on the keyboard and see how that works.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
And because this is just it's just a flat plane, you can technically just attach anything to the bottom. You could screw this into a giant piece of wood if you wanted to. I guess you could potentially make like something that can make like a flap or something. But I hope people can just take the top half, which is the whole keyboard, and just mount it to different stuff and have fun.
Yeah. Is there a particular time frame you're shooting for the Tokyo 60?
We'll see, sir. I'm talking to someone right now to get that released. Because definitely I know that I can't handle the distribution and fulfillment and all that stuff myself, and really need a pro. So I think when that gets figured out. So TBD. But more or less things are good to go. The prototypes work pretty well. The next round's coming in soon. So next round I'm getting done in silver, black, and rose gold, which is super fun. And yeah, so
Invisibility asks about the Tokyo 60. Says, does the plate flex? Is it pretty rigid?
So I have a 1.5 millimeter version and then a 4.5 millimeter version. The 4.5 version doesn't really flex at all, but the 1.5 has a tiny bit of flex. But once the PCB is in as well, it's pretty solid, because the PCB actually screws up into the plate through the mount holes. So
it is top mounted, and the plate is actually integrated with the whole top of the case. That's like the majority of the case. The bottom is just a thin layer of material that screws in just to keep everything there and protected. So I imagine it's as rigid or more rigid than any other aluminum plate.
Right. So I think but I would love to see how you guys feel about the actual type feel and acoustics and sound, all that stuff, because I don't. I just have enough of a good set.
Yeah.
So, and I guess Dixie Mech, about the bezel. So the bottom bezel is just a little bit more than the top and left and right. I guess the back, and a lot of that is like with when I had the bezel the exact same. It didn't quite feel visually right in that there wasn't a direction the keyboard was moving. If that makes sense. So the front is a little weighted, so that that's where the visual weight of the design sort of sits with the blockers there, and the rest sort of fades away. That's why it's not uniform. And about the rose gold, so I'm actually getting the prototypes I have are from the same factory that makes the M65. So it's going to be the same rose gold that the M65 is in.
Very, very cool.
Nice.
So yeah, they do really cool stuff. So I'm actually going to be visiting them in person on the 21st, and probably documenting some of that tour. So if you guys want to hop along on a live stream, that could be super fun. I don't know if I can stream from China, but I'll definitely document it.
That'd be awesome.
And definitely, if you guys want to work with the same factory, they're super cool. And well, so far they're super cool. We'll see what happens. But for prototype stuff, I would highly recommend them. They've been fantastic to work with. Yeah.
So here's a question on the Tokyo 60. Any guess on price?
Oof. Okay, so the idea is to be able to bring this as sort of affordable as possible. I would love to be able to hit something that's 200 under, but I think unless looking at the pricing right now, unless the MOQ is massive, that's going to be pretty difficult. So it's probably going to sit somewhere in the 250 range. I think I'll only figure that out, but it's definitely under $300 for sure. I think, and it's essentially two pieces with a few screws. So hopefully a lot of the costs can come down. For normally where people have assembly, packaging, etc. But we'll see, because the goal is to have sort of some more limited runs where it will cost more, so either special finish or different bottoms, and hopefully a cheaper standard run that would be very basic colors like black and silver, and those you can run it at higher quantities because more people will want them, and that will be a more accessible range. So
yeah. So a follow up on that from someone in chat says, is that going to be the kit or the case?
Right.
So is that $250 price just going to be the top and bottom portion of the case and the mounting hardware, or is there going to be more included in that?
So right now that would be for the case. I would love to do a full kit with PCB and keys, and right now it's trying to figure out how to get that done. Because I definitely need to partner with someone to make that release happen.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Those things are currently in discussion. So yeah, stay tuned.
Great to hear. So we had a question from Avid User 2. Current favorite GMK set?
Ooh. I know Brian's answer. So.
Probably still 9009 for me. That hasn't really changed. I like lots of sets though.
I like a lot of sets too. It's hard to say. I have so many sets I like. I got Honeywell in today. It looks pretty nice. I like Classic Retro. Got that recently. I've muted on the way. I actually just got an email on my phone. It's like, hey, here's your tracking number. I'm like, whoa.
Oh, nice. So
right?
There you go. J-Chan putting in work still. Regardless
in
of
terms of like thematic boards, I mean, like going on with my green theme. That's probably one of my most thematic boards. I like my KA 2017 I got recently, like the most beautiful pastel pink ever to grace the key set.
That's really nice.
That's I don't know what else I would say. I like Cyan. I like Hydra. I like a lot of sets. I just like GMK guys.
GMK.
GMK or bust, man.
There's not really a lot of there's really bad GMK sets. Like at the end of the day, you're still typing on GMK.
GMK is Bay. I'm just gonna get a nice shot. I don't think I can get a nice shot of the pink, but I will try.
Someone's actually asking, what is KA 2017? This is
a set, a GMK set that was only run in China. So most people haven't heard of KA 2017. This is a custom pink color, by the way. It's not offered in the normal GMK color swatches.
Super rare.
Yeah, it's a super rare set. It was only made limited amounts. It actually does have okay compatibility. It's a Chinese group buy, so they are horrible at compatibilities, but that's because they just use TKLs all day.
Oh my god. Fox Floof says, little disappointed that the GMK Plum I just got is already starting to shine. No.
Really?
Be happy.
Embrace the shine.
Shine is great, okay?
Yeah.
Shine is life. Shine is love.
Oh man, I was talking to someone the other day, and I would love to have a super shiny key set. Like,
man.
Get GMK
like
and
you're like
start
old school gloss.
Yeah, I have a set of
Oh.
OG cherry, and it's pretty darn shined up, and it's nice. It's smooth. It's got a great sheen, even sheen to it. There's nothing wrong with shine. I've said it on shows before, but when you cross the line from worrying about shine to loving and embracing the shine, that's when you become a true enthusiast.
Yep.
Look at you, Brian, just dropping quotes all day, like keyboard wisdom.
Yes,
We
call
cross the
me
line to shine.
Gandalf, please.
Oh, Huey, how's that
Call me
the
the
3D printed profile that you had
The what?
of the 3D printed what's the name of that key set? The super.
Yeah, on the XYZ profile that Evan's been
Yeah.
working on. Great.
Right.
He's actually just today he sent me tracking. He's sending me a new bottom row. Cause I was telling him
Right.
basically the current bottom row. No offense, Evan, isn't great at all.
Right.
And he's like, I agree. So he made a new bottom row, and he's going to be sending it for me to try out. The best way for me to describe that new new profile, it's basically if DSA was sculpted.
Interesting.
So take that as you will.
Yeah.
I told that to Evan, and Evan's like, yeah, that's what it was aiming for. But it's basically it's DSA but sculpted. So spherical caps, but they're tilted. They're at angles for a profile. They're not all flat. Cherry profiling, basically, spherical tops.
Yep.
Feels pretty
That
good.
sounds awesome.
Profile-wise, of course, I'm using the 3D printed version, not, of course, ABS or PBT. I think Evan does plan on producing them in ABS first when he gets everything going. But I think it's worth trying out. At any rate, even if you're not down with DSA, because he put a nice profile on it, it's worth revisiting spherical tops.
Yep, I will definitely be buying a set to try for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I'm super excited.
Melodette asks, did any of you hop in the GMK Oblivion group buy? I'm planning on buying it when extras surface. I did.
I did not.
Because of all the prototypes I've had to basically buy, like I've had to skip on a lot of stuff. It's kind of sad. So
actually,
yeah.
let's of all the things you've had to skip out on recently because of all your projects, what's the one thing you wish you could just go back in time and just snatch real quick, regardless?
Oh my god, I love Terminal. I wish I had Terminal. That's a while back now, but
I hear you there. Yeah.
Because you're a lover of Skidata, aren't you?
I love Skidata so much, man. I love the really boring kind of OG-ish GMK sets. Like just OG 9009, Skidata, white on black. I guess Honeywell. Honeywell is one I wish I got.
GMK Classic Retro. The OG.
Classic Retro.
The simple. It's just
which is 9009 without the accents. so it's good.
Yeah. Oh man.
And
I like simple stuff.
People are spamming that Terminal is going to have a round 2.
Yeah, Terminal's going to have round 2. I mean, I thought 9009's going to have round 2, which is super exciting. I think I'm going to jump on that if it's late enough. What's really funny is actually a set that I'm sort of in love now. That more than when I got it is Skeletor. Like I didn't have the right board for it.
Actually, yeah.
You have to have the right board for Skeletor. That's the only issue with Skeletor because the colors are they're loud.
They're so in your
and
face.
They're different.
Pretty out there, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I finally put it on my Dulce pack, and then it's like, okay, that's where it belongs. It just needs like a huge bezeled, boring gray, and then all of a sudden it's a ton of fun.
Any
all right.
Other questions as we are about to touch, gently caress the 2-hour mark.
Ooh, gently
Well,
press
while
that.
we wait for any other possible questions, I'm going to go shill again. Hey guys, on September 28th, Top Clack is having a 1-year anniversary special episode, which will be really awesome. There's a lot of goodies, especially for Top Clack fans. Stay tuned. And starting possibly next week, we might start some contests to determine who might win a certain prize or two. but that's just gonna be that'll be discussed later. In terms of other things, Top Clack's gonna be doing on that 28th. We're doing a big revamp. We have a new stream layout, some new awesome art assets. I might even get a haircut.
Wow.
So like we're going big. We're going big, guys. But one
Are
of
you
the
gonna have
things,
like an official Top Clack haircut?
Please no. Please no.
But one thing that we are going to be transitioning to, I talked about it earlier in the show, if you were able to catch it earlier in the show. So a lot of you may know, all of Top Clack's current VODs are hosted on my personal YouTube channel, which is fine and dandy. Brian and I are deciding to take Top Clack in a more legit direction, and we have a Top Clack branded channel that we both now own. Brian's going to throw that in chat again. And we'd like, if you can, to please subscribe. At 100 subscribers, we can get our own custom URL. So once we get our custom URL, we'll be set on that. All our new episodes, starting with our 1-year anniversary on the 28th, upwards to the foreseeable future, as far as we can see, will all be uploaded on that new channel. Our first goal, though, is just to get 100 subs so we can get our custom URL.
What's it at right now?
I think we're about almost a third of the way there. Let's see, refresh. We
27.
are sitting at 27. So if you have a chance, please subscribe if you like what you see. All of our Top Clack videos will be going there. We may have other, as well as our dual build streams. Those will be going there too, as well as possible other information. Will it be streamed live next week on there or only VOD? We at the moment we haven't discussed whether or not we'll switch streaming to YouTube. At the moment we're just going to keep it on Twitch. And the VODs will be the VODs for year 1, which will be including next episode as well, will be still on my channel starting on the episode on the 28th and beyond. All new VODs will be on this new channel. We would just love to hit 100 subs, so we can get our own custom URL, so you guys don't have to memorize youtube.com/UCALHIFK, etc.
I just have it hockeyed that road.
And instead you can just type in youtube.com/C/TopClack. That will be the main goal.
OG Master Keith says, so fun, called off work that day for the 1-year special. That's
I'm so excited just to see Victor again.
That's dedicated.
Yeah, it will be an extended episode. We're going to start at our normal time, but we're just going to go longer.
And also keep in mind that for the people that are worried that you need to be present for the episode to like win any of the giveaway stuff, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
What does that mean? Should I just start up like multiple streams and just not be in front of the
Well, my idea is that Top Clack obviously has a lot of supporters, but not everyone can watch live. We have a lot of people that strictly watch the VODs, but they're still big fans of the show. We have a lot of people that just listen to the audio-only podcasts, but they still are supporters of the show, people like that. We want people that support the show to have a chance at winning stuff, regardless of whether they watch live or not.
That's very cool.
So that's kind of the mindset there. So don't expect that if you missed a show, don't worry about it. We're working on other ways to do giveaways that just aren't completely live.
Yeah, we've actually we have a list. Like it's a thing that we've actually like been doing.
It's a thing.
Oddly enough. Question.
Yeah.
There was OG 9009 for sale on RMK for $100. Is that a bargain or expensive?
OG. Okay, so I mean, obviously your
OG
compatibility
9009 is ISO layout. So I mean, if you don't
Yeah.
mind that it's ISO layout, then yeah, that's great.
If it's in good condition and it supports the layout that you want to use,
And if you
then
love
I would say
8
that's-
space bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then-
But if
Yeah.
you get all the mods, I mean that's super nice.
Oh, one thing I
That's
can
a ton of
talk
like
about.
fun Yuki.
For NorCal Meetup, I can confirm. I have changed the post to reflect this. Food trucks are confirmed, everyone, for the NorCal Meetup. And more
Dude, I'm
exciting
so
than
going to be there.
that, so a lot of you who have gone to meetups all across, at least the United States, know that. Brian, what's the staple food everyone goes to after a meetup?
Well, Korean barbecue has been very popular among a lot of meetups.
But at the Seattle meetup, I realized not everyone could go. So, I had a plan. One of the food trucks is a Korean barbecue food truck.
Oh my god,
so
dude.
That's amazing.
Everyone can have Korean barbecue at the meetup if you can't go to the after party.
Be still my heart.
Oh, you guys.
There will be a KBBQ food
Wow.
truck at the NorCal meetup.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
That sounds amazing. I feel like I'm gonna need to do like a full yeah.
Master Wanderer says, "Holy bulgogi." That's awesome. Fantastic.
I like data sex. I just Koreaned all over myself.
Wow, that works surprisingly well. Evan says, "Well, shit, now I have to go." Like you weren't gonna go already. Come on now.
Wait, guys, food? Fantastic.
I think Evan has been the most consistent out of towner to any of my meetups. I'm pretty sure.
Dude, I'm so excited to meet Evan, man. I guess if you're going, dude.
Are you coming, Alvin?
I'm definitely thinking about it, and November is open on those dates. So, I think I'm gonna do a little bit of a California tour. Start Korean barbecue in SoCal, and then Korean barbecue in NorCal, I guess.
That sounds great.
Yes, definitely come if you can.
Yeah, you definitely should. We're having quite a bit of people come. I know there's a few guys from Canada who's like, yeah, we'll be coming. I'm like, that's great. Holy crap, that's great, guys. A lot of people from Seattle, like Brian, and so a lot of other people are flying in. I'm Airbnb-ing with like a person from Seattle, maybe two. Yeah.
I mean, are you guys there for the weekend, basically?
Yeah, basically everyone who's flying in
Right.
is there for the weekend. So like I'm like drinking and eating and hanging out with a lot of people on Friday. Saturday morning through Saturday evening is the meetup with some post party stuff, post meetup. And a lot of people who fly in will still be there most of Sunday. So I'll be around like hanging out with people Sunday or driving them to the airport.
Oh.
So there's kind of a three day event of just keyboards and people.
Yeah, I'm there.
Master Wanderer talking about a road trip, man. Yeah, dude, would love to see if we get like an RMK Top Clack, wagon up in SoCal to the meetup.
Ooh.
A Top Clack party bus.
At the meetup, there's going to be a live Top Clack episode. A Top Clack episode performed. I mean, we're live every Thursday, but I mean live with a live studio. It's not a studio audience, but a live audience.
Studio audience, damn it.
Applause now.
They're in a studio. We're gonna have people just hold up signs, laugh, clap,
Exactly.
praise Brian.
A bunch of people on their clicky blues,
Yeah. Instead of applause, just click.
Exactly.
Click.
All right, last question before we take off here. Avid User 2 asks, do you ever buy more than one of a GMK colorway, especially for classics such as Dolce?
No.
No, I never own more than one of the same set.
The only reason you should own more than one is if you're the person who's concerned about shine. And if you're the person concerned about shine, you should learn to not worry about shine, so you don't have to buy two of every GMK set.
Yeah.
I would agree, because it's hard to, yeah, it's nice to mix it up.
Yeah, you can't, no. Unless you just have, like, money that you just have no idea what to do with. In which case, you should just give that money to me anyways. LLJK. But speaking of, before we take off here, if you check out below the stream, we have links to not only our social media, which you can check out, but also our Patreon account, where you can donate and help save Top Clack lives, and help us by supporting the channel and the things that we do, and donations.
Everyone who's currently supporting us on Patreon, by the way, thank you so much for your help. Brian, how much are we at now? Ish.
$5 million.
Let's find out. So Top Clack is, oh crap, hold on, let me it didn't have me automatically logged in. What the hell? Come on.
The magical.
All right. According to Patreon right now, we are at $24 a month.
That's awesome.
That's obviously barring anyone that cancels, like after the first time they donated. So that's best case scenario.
But hey, I mean, that's at least like one bulgogi between the both of you, right?
That's
or something.
Well, no, it's actually it actually goes towards top clack stuff, believe it or not.
Yeah. So a lot of people do wonder, like, what do we even use our top clack money for? The most things we use our top clack money for, especially on the 28th, will be funds to ship out prizes, because some prizes are bigger than others and take money to ship. Our Podbean account, for those of you who enjoy our audio-only having the audio version of our episodes, we host it all on Podbean. That pays for that account. We guess this is a bit of a teaser, but Top Clack has an official website, not publicly released yet, but we do have a website that will be unveiled on the 28th, and the funds also pay for that. And we also are working on another project that we've mentioned in the past, which is T-shirts. We'll begin pre-orders for that.
Yeah, but Top Clack Cash needs to be a thing, man.
Top Clack what?
Like Top Clack Cash, actually, like
Top
Clack bucks.
Top Clack bucks, exactly.
Clack bucks.
Yeah, but if you are a donor to our Patreon, know that the money is actually going to better Top Clack.
Yes, we're
we're totally transparent here.
Yeah, we actually have an artist that we still need to pay, for example.
So we're there are things. It's going towards things. Don't worry. It's not like we're blowing it on alcohol.
So for those of you who may not know, Brian and I want Top Clack to be the best show we can make it. We want us to be the premier keyboard live stream. And it's possible because of all of your support and help. So everyone, thank you so much. Wanna close this out, Brian, for the night?
Yeah, and also just a quick tip also. Yeah, if you are one of our Patreon donators, there will be exclusive Patreon giveaways and possibly content just for those guys. So
would you do like Quakeham's private looting shows or something?
I'll do it very sensually. I may or may not have clothing on. I don't know. It's hard to say, but no, there definitely will be. There will be some cool stuff going on there. So, definitely look out for that. Anyways.
Oh, dude, yeah, wait, yeah, that's a really good question. When is the Tiny Rap Battle happening?
So I already told Brian, and I might have told Tiny this, but I told Brian for sure. If Brian doesn't have the episode with Tiny by the time the NorCal meetup happens, they're going to do it live at the meetup. I'm going to bring an air horn, and I'm going to be hyping it up at the meetup.
I need to work on my rhymes then.
Yeah, I gotta drop sick space bars.
Wow. Anyways. Thank you very much for joining us today. It was definitely a pleasure.
Thank you guys for having me, man, and thank you guys everyone on the stream right now for hanging out with me and you guys.
Before you go, Alvin, post your project again so everyone can take a look as we head out, because that would be wonderful. We definitely support what you're doing there. That is an awesome project.
Appreciate it. I think I posted that right, hopefully.
Yep.
Yes. There you go. Anyways, thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. We will be back next week, same time, same place, Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And definitely see you there. Make sure to come check it out again.
Bye, everyone.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, bye.